Hey everyone, it's Caitlin, your geeky girlfriend, and in this video, I am going to do what you could say is a lecture or an informational video about just some fashion terminology and some things that you might not know. So, the reason for these videos is as a teacher, I obviously educate people for a living and as my full-time career. And frequently, when I mention fashion terms such as mule, riding boot, booty, a lot of people don't know what those terms mean. And when I describe items to people who aren't in the fashion industry, like blogging or something else, then they have to go and look that up or what have you. So I decided to create some videos. So if you or your friends or someone like me is talking to you and I use a term like mule or espadrill or wedge, then you will be able to have a frame of reference for what I'm talking about. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about shoes and some popular trends right now in the shoe market. Some of these trends have been around for a long time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the shoes and describe the features of them. So when you go shopping or are talking to your friends about shopping or watching my videos and watching all my stories, you can be like, oh yeah, that's this type of shoe, and you won't have to feel like you have to go and look it up. So I'm hoping that these videos will be informational and will help you in your shopping journey, especially as we head into fall and we're getting those wardrobes ready. The biggest staple about fall fashion is, of course, boots, and so I wanted to highlight shoes in this first video of the new informational little video series or the vlog, and I wanted to use YouTube to spread positive words and messages and to just share information and facts. So we're gonna start with shoes, like I said, and let's just go ahead and get into it because I feel like this video is going to be a little bit long. So I'm just gonna show you different shoes and describe them, and I'm going to be talking about fabrics and materials. I'm going to be talking about heel heights and different types of heels and what characterizes each one, and also just different types of shoes in general. So let's go ahead and get started with this pair. This is a newer pair that I added to my collection in the spring of this year. So I haven't had these for very long. And you can find all of these shoes in my full closet tour shoes edition, which will be up on YouTube here very shortly if it's not already. So you should be able to go and find that video. It was posted Sunday night, and you can go and see all of these shoes again and find out more about where I got them. This video that you're watching right now is strictly about the characteristics of each type of shoe and what makes it different from another one. So we're going to start, like I said, this is a staple. This is in, if you're into like the edgy, dramatic fashion, then you're going to see a lot of this type of shoe. This is your standard Moto Boot. It is referred to as a Moto Boot because it represents or resembles that of which a motocross or motorcycle rider would have typically worn. They don't wear these so much anymore. Some people do, but not so much anymore. Black leather with laces all the way up. The logic is it has to cover the ankle, so when you're riding, if you hit the road, then your ankles and the lower part of your leg is covered. So this is the classic Moto Boot. It will be characterized by usually one, if not two zippers, and then a bunch of laces. Now, I have a cheat version of the Moto Boot. Mine actually zip on the inside so that laces don't have to be tied and untied, but as a personal preference for size, you can adjust them. So this is your Moto Boot. Moto Boots will primarily come in black, but we are seeing them sometimes in olive to be more of like an army combat boot. So that's kind of the difference. If you see like the greenish brown and like the olive green, those are going to be your combat boots versus the Moto Boot, but similar styles. So that's the first one. Now let's take a look at the next type that we're going to be seeing a lot of this year and that we always see in the fall, and that's the riding boot. So this is a lot higher up on the leg, usually comes to just below the knee. typically will have belts and buckles and different fastens. It is made to represent equestrian riders and the boots that they wear as part of their uniform. And so it is characterized by a long length zipper. Again, these are cheat ones. They do have the zipper on the inside. This zipper is just for design and aesthetic purposes only. But the riding boot is gonna, like I said, come up. It should hit a little bit below your knee or the calf. And it typically, you'll see it styled, a lot of people wear it with leggings, but the boot socks. You would stick your boot sock out and have like a little lace or, you know, crocheting up here at the top in the fall. So these are super cute to wear with those boot socks that you get in all different colors. And the bottom is a standard boot. So that's the difference between the Moto Boot, which is leather, short around the ankle, and then your riding boot, a little bit taller, but overall similar style. Now the difference with the riding boot is these are like a cloth or a fabric. The Moto Boots are going to almost always be leather. Riding boots can be, but are not always. They can be like a fabric or a cloth. And then we've got these are your thigh-high boots. So these ones come up over the knee, and they typically have a big block heel. Some people have a less decent name for these. Some people call these stripper heels, hooker heels, but these are just thigh-high boots, and they usually will have like the platform wedge. They make these in like a tan. Most of the time they're going to be a suede. So I'm going to get closer to the camera so you can try and see the fabric. Suede is a soft, almost not quite as soft as velvet. It's like the in-between of regular cotton and velvet. So you can see that they do have, these are a suede. They have a little bit of that change in color when you run your hand. That's how you're going to know that it's soft to touch. And then they have usually elastic back here in the back. Some of them have zippers, some of them do not. Mine do have an inside zipper that helps them stay in place, but they also do have the elastic. So these are your thigh highs. Now, most of the time, your thigh highs are not going to come up over your thigh. They're going to hit just above the knee. But since they touch the thigh, you could say that they were thigh high boots. Typically, we see these in the fall and winter with dresses and skirts. That's typically where you'll see the thigh high to cover up more of the leg, or when they want to cover up more of the leg. I'm pretty sure if you are watching this video, you probably are very familiar with the next one, and that is your classic cowgirl boot. This is something that not everybody necessarily would need to have in their shoe wardrobe. However, if you ever go to a country concert, you're going to want a pair of cowgirl boots. Cowgirl boots are characterized by some stitching up here. Typically they are brown, but when we were at the boot store in Tennessee, we saw lots of variations, including pink and white. But a cowgirl boot or a Western style boot is going to have usually some stitching of some kind here on the leg. It's going to have a pointed toe. Typically, when looking at women's boots, it's not very common that you'll see a straight toe like you would in a men's cowboy boot. So the stitching on the side is what makes these a cowgirl boot. I got these were just like, oh, I need to have some cowgirl boots in my collection. So I got them, and I have worn them a few times. They are not an everyday wear boot unless you are on a horse farm or working on a farm or something like that. They are not an everyday wear because they can be kind of uncomfortable. So these are for just the pure aesthetic of looking cute unless you are a farm girl. And if you're watching this video, and maybe you are, then you definitely know those boots. So that's your cowgirl boot, characterized by the leather and the stitching. And then we have the fringy boot, which this was a trend a couple of years ago, and it kind of was one that faded out pretty quickly. These are really cute. They're not super popular, but I wanted to show these so you could get, if you did not know what fringe meant, I would have a good example of what fringe meant. These are inspired by typical Native American attire, because Native Americans typically will wear something similar, maybe a little bit shorter, but they will have like this fringy hide on them. These obviously are not made of hide, but I just use that as a reference historically. So this is your fringe boot. I have only worn these a couple of times, but I do find them really cute, and I just wanted to show you, like I said, to show you what the fringe looks like. And in case you were unaware of what fringe was, you might not. I'm trying to cover all the bases in terms of fabric and detailing that you can find. And so I just wanted to show those off. Sticking with the boots, I have a couple more pairs to show you guys and to describe to you. Then we've done like the full length boots. The highest length boot is obviously going to be those thigh highs that I showed you, the black pair that come up over the knee. Your riding boots are going to hit just below the knee. Cowgirl boots are going to hit calf level. And then we get to your Moto boots are going to hit above the ankle. And then we get to the smallest coverage in terms of boots. And those are the booty category. And I've got a couple different types to show you. We're going to start with these ones. These are a wedged heel booty, definitely more of a dressy shoe. They, again, you can see, have that suede, a little bit soft on the outside. They have a wedged heel. So on the inside, it's going to feel like you are wearing a wedge, but it has the appearance of a brown boot. And there is a trend right now in wedged sneakers, so you could actually get tennis shoes that have this same wedge heel inside, and it has like a platform that matches the outside of the sneaker, which those are kind of cool. And those are a really great piece to add if you are more of a casual person but like want to dress up your look a little bit. Just go with a platform wedge. So this is the one type of booty, is the wedged heel booty, where the whole heel is made to look like part of the shoe. And then there are also wedge booties that have the wedge exposed, like these. So these are your block heel booties. These still have a heel on them, but they you can see the definition between the heel, whereas in this one, the heel is completely covered up to just look like the whole shoe. So this has a very distinct heel, and it has the style that it looks like wood. And then these obviously have that super cute cheetah or leopard pattern. These are a fun way to make just regular jeans look a little bit more dressy by adding a cute booty like this. You also have booties that have no heel and are just flat. But anything that is a short boot that's going to come just below your ankle is described as a booty. So it's like a mini boot. And your coverage for this should be, like when I put this on, this is where my ankle bone hits right here. So it comes up just above the ankle. So it is the shortest of all of the boots, is your booty. Then you have your block heel, like I said, thicker, usually no more than like an inch or an inch and a half, depending, but it's not going to be any bigger than this. So if you are not a heels person, most of the time you're going to be wearing this block style or a wedge. I used to be very much a heel person, and then I had an injury to my Achilles and now can only wear the wedge style. But I'm able to wear the wedge style for a really long time and stay comfortable. So the wedge and the block heel are a great way to maybe dip your toe into wearing heels or scale back if you used to be a heel person and need to scale back to a more comfortable, longer wear heel. Go with the block heel or that one that looks to be wooden. I prefer these most of the time over wedges, because wedges, I have a tendency to roll my ankles and I can't quite get my footing right. But in these, I'm very secure and very on top of my center of balance, and I don't find myself tripping over my own feet or rolling my ankles. So the block heel is definitely the way to go. So those are all of our boots and booties and all the terms that you might hear a salesperson or a blogger talk about as we get into fall fashion. Fall fashion is, you know, typically the flannels, the leggings, and the boots, and it's going to be right around the corner. So as you get your fall wardrobe ready, keep some of these things in mind. Save this video for later, so when you're shopping and it says, oh, block heel booty, leopard booty, you can go and reference and figure out which heel it's going to be and how comfortable it's going to be for you. Okay, so now we're going to move into more of your everyday wear shoes. And again, I'm just going to give you the terms, show you what they typically look like. And if you want more information about any of the shoes in particular, you can check out my closet tour shoes edition. And I will be sharing where I got all the shoes and the size that I wear and all that in that video, which is up here in the YouTube channel. So make sure you go check that out. All right, we're going to start off with an off-brand, actually. I'm going to show you this body style of shoe. These are a canvas shoe. Tom's is the brand that made these shoes famous several years ago. And the brand that I'm showing you is actually Bob's, which is the Skechers off-brand of Tom's. Tom's is like the nonprofit organization, and then Bob's is Skechers version. So Skechers took the design and made their own. But Tom's are just characterized by it's like canvas that's wrapped around into a flat sort of shoe. It does have a traditional like sneaker or regular shoe sole. Like, it's not canvas all the way around. These ones actually have memory foam on the inside, but they're just supposed to be a casual throw on like summer fall shoe because they're light. Not so great in the rain because of the canvas. But they are comfortable and very breathable. So those are your Toms or your Bobs, a canvas shoe. There are several other off-brands of these. Go with an off-brand because they all fit the same way, and don't spend your money on the Toms, in my opinion, because you can get Bobs for half the price and some knockoffs for even cheaper, for like way less. So definitely do not spend your money on the Toms, even though their proceeds do go to a wonderful organization. I would recommend going with a cheaper version. So those are your canvas shoes, and they make several different, they make like regular Vans looking sneakers that are made of canvas, but the typical ones are those wraps, like the Toms. Next we have the Espadrill. Now, what's unique about this is it has a very Hispanic, Mexican sort of feel. Kind of gives you like a New Mexico vibe, that Aztec. This is a rare version of an Espadrill. This is a black suede one. They typically are brown leather, but I got these years ago, and kind of when Espadrills were first coming out, and so I did find these black ones. These are kind of hard to find, but I'm trying to show you the stitching here. You see it has that like old, it kind of reminds me of like a mariachi sort of uniform, like an old time Wild West duel. It kind of gives me that vibe as well. Like I said, New Mexican architecture, Aztec-y. So this is your Espadrill. It's going to be characterized by that type of stitching on the side. They are lace-up shoes. And they are typically brown leather, and they're just another type of like flat shoe, great to wear with jeans, black dress pants, stuff like that. They're just like a classic little shoe kind of for everyday use. They're not going to go with everything, but it's worth a look into, especially if you need like a brown shoe. They make them for men as well, and they do resemble a men's dress shoe. So they do make them for men as well, and they're very stylish, and they're not always in the market, so if you like them, I would just search like your DSWs and kind of your off-brand, like your off-market shops, because those kind of come and go in terms of a trend. Next, we're going to look at a loafer. Now, loafers are traditionally associated with like elderly people, teachers, men, but the design of a loafer, they used to be called penny loafers because instead of having this bow here, there would be a slot literally for a new bronze penny. And so you would put your penny in there and it would shine on your shoe. And people, they were new penny loafers. So they used to be designed to hold pennies. And then over the years, obviously the design has adapted a little bit. What makes this shoe unique is this part right here. It has like a square toe. And it comes down, men's and women's loafers are designed the exact same way, which I think is very unique. This is one of the shoes that men and women can both agree on that are comfortable and are stylish for both. These are like a light brown. Most of them are going to be a dark brown. They're going to be a leather. Like, these are all high quality shoes, very dressy, very professional, or business casual. Definitely not like a casual shoe. These were intended and designed way back when to be like for the working woman or man, to be like a casual or like a professional looking shoe. So loafers are characterized by this toe here. They're usually going to have some sort of belt or detail across the top, and they come up and just cover your whole foot. So it was designed to be a closed-toed shoe, like I said, perfect for meetings and the business casual wardrobe when men were at work. And then when women started to go to work, women wore them too. And so, like I said, they are a very unisex shoe. Like, men and women can get behind a solid loafer. And I think that's really interesting because that's one of the only shoes in our market today that is made for both men and women. Now, don't get me wrong, there are lots of shoe brands, Sperry, Tom's, that men have like a men's line and a women's line, but the loafer is just like a generic design. So obviously with the discrepancy of sizes, if my husband liked this shoe, I guarantee you we could find one in his size in the men's version. Like, obviously this is made for a woman's foot, but they would have this same exact shoe for a man in his size. So I think that's really, really interesting because a lot of other shoe brands will market specifically toward men and women in pattern, design, print, etc. Whereas loafers are straight across, like, universally accepted. And I think that's really cool. Speaking of another brand that does cater to men and women, I was just talking about this with regards to they make shoes for men and women, not necessarily the same patterns and designs. That is your Sperry. Sperry is a brand of shoes. They're a designer and they make like a boat shoe. So these are, I typically associate Sperry's with like frat boys, yachts, those types of things because they were designed to be like a stylish shoe. They tie in the front, but they have like a sneaker. So these are going to be really slip resistant, which is great. And these come in all different shapes and sizes, but these are like your boat shoes, your Sperry's. And Sperry's is the #1 brand for making and designing boat shoes. This is another one where you can find men's designs and women's patterns and designs, but they do have the lip. They have 2 little laces, and then they just are going to have like this type of a shape, and then they have this sole on the bottom to help them be slip resistant on a boat deck. Okay, the last little category that I'm going to talk about really fast, because this video is getting a little bit long like I had thought, is our heels. And we have one more like newer type of shoe to talk about, and that is the mule. So that's like your drink, that's like the animal, and it is this design. It is a slip-on shoe that is closed-toed all the way around, and these are coming in lots of different patterns and styles right now, especially this season. So this is a really trendy piece. It is new to the fashion market, or newer, and in our lifetime, this is a trend. This is the mule. These are new for me. I just got these and are trying these out. They typically will have a little heel here, but they are categorized by the slip-on. No straps, no nothing, really quick and super chic and professional. So this type of design is the mule. So we've talked about espadrilles, we've talked about loafers, we've talked about wedges, we've talked about block heels, and we've talked about all different types of boots. Let's get into the heels. I showed you a boot with a block heel. I just wanted to show you a like sandal or just a typical heeled shoe with the block heel. So this is like your dress shoe or a traditional heel. This is the only type of heel that I will wear with the exception of a pump, which we'll get into in just a minute. But all of my heels have this type of a block, like the wooden block heel. And so this is just an example of that in a high-heeled shoe. So this would still be considered to be a heeled shoe. And this is that block heel. Okay? Now we're going to look at the pump. I'm going to show you one of each. I've shown you suede already in the boots. So these pumps are a suede. You can tell by... there's a color change when I move my finger, so it does have that soft suede fabric. These are a pump. Pumps are characterized by a 2-inch heel or less, typically. Usually it's about a 2 to 2.5. If you go any higher to like the 3-inch, that's where you get to the stilettos, and the heel is very, very skinny. These could possibly be considered a stiletto. These are about 2 inches to 2.25. This is the highest heel that I own. This is the, like, I do not have any stilettos any longer, but your stiletto heel is going to come up to about here, and the heel is going to be really, really thin. Your stiletto heels are going to look as if you step on them the wrong way. That heel is just going to snap. So those are your stilettos. The pump is characterized by usually the pointy toe. It's going to have, you know, kind of a pinched heel up here, really going to be tight on the foot. And it's that power shoe, women in business shoe, but it is characterized by the pointy toe and the heel. Like I said, those orange ones could almost probably be a stiletto because of how high they are, but I don't, in my own vocabulary, I would not consider them to be a stiletto. This is typically more of the heel you're going to see in a pump. This is about a 1-inch heel. Let's look at the difference between this heel and the block heel. So these heels are, if you put them at the base, they're the same height. If you match up where like the heel actually starts, these are the same height. But a lot of people find these easier to walk in because of how big and supportive this is. These heels are leather, and you can always tell something is leather or pleather, you know, the fake leather, by how shiny it is. And these are a staple. Everybody should have a nude heel in their closet, but this is a standard pump. It has about a 1-inch heel, and you can just see like how thin that is. And the last one that we're going to talk about, this is the Kitten. It's just a very small, short little heel, about a 1/2 inch, just a little bit of an elevation off of the ground. This is your Kitten heel. These can be wedges. I had a pair of wedge heels that was a Kitten. Anything that's like less than 1 inch is going to be your Kitten heel. So just super short, but still a little bit, like a little bit of a heel, gives you a little bit of lift in the legs and the butt. And so that's your shortest heel. So anything that is like a little bit up, even these mules would be considered to have a Kitten heel because they are up off the ground, and the sole of the shoe is not flat to the ground. Obviously your flats are something that the sole is completely flat to the ground. An example of a flat would be the tom or your traditional ballet flat. Something like this. Very flat, little to no heel. Your sole of your shoe or your heel when you're walking, like it's going to feel like you are on the ground. Very little sole here actually in these shoes. The ballerina flats specifically do have this little bow to represent ballet slippers. Otherwise, they make pointy toe flats. They make rounded toe flats. They make mesh, jelly flats. Like there are flats in all different types of designs and especially different colors and patterns. I hope that you guys found this video to be informative and that you learned a lot about my shoe vocabulary and that you will use it when you go shopping for your fall shoe staples in the next coming in the next couple of weeks as you get ready to go back to school, back to work, shop for your kids going back to school, shop for yourself if you're a teacher, or just like soaking up all those end of summer sales and those new fall sales. Labor Day weekend, there'll be a bunch of sales. So I hope that this was informative. I hope that you guys learned something, and let me know which new term you learned in today's video by dropping it in the comments. As always, if you liked this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and if you're not already a subscriber, then there's your call to action to go ahead and subscribe now. And let me know what you think of these videos, and keep watching my channel and my blog on Instagram for more content coming every day. New posts and videos and reels and videos here in the YouTube channel all about fall fashion, fall sneak peeks. And like I've mentioned a couple of times in this video, if you missed it, go check out my closet tour of all of my shoes. All the shoes in this video, plus so many more, are in that video, which was posted Sunday night. Go check it out and let me know which type you would like to get a similar pair in your wardrobe, or which shopping hack you like the best. So go check that one out too. Thank you for watching. See you guys in the next one.